Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition. Hello, kids and cadets, children of all ages. We're excited to have you here on the FSF Boy, a live raspberry. You guys are lucky. This is going to be a rough night if I'm already starting off with raspberries. Anyway, welcome to the FSF PopCast, the show that's as confusing as Star Wars canon and as overly dramatic as Captain Kirk. Yeah, we're a hot mess. So anyway, we're glad to have you guys here. We got some fun guests waiting for us in the waiting room. Kathleen will be here shortly. But hey, before we get into anything fun and outstanding tonight, we do want to say thank you to our show partners, and that is the amazing squad over at Level Up Sabers. So check out this nerdy footage. All right. So, there's a reason why Kathleen's late. One of us may have forgot to send her a link. I don't want to say that it was me. It was totally me. But anyway, so she'll be in shortly because, the very smart person here forgot to send. Hi, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us.
Thanks for letting me join my own show. Answering your messages. Boomer.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to my messages because I have a show to do and people to talk to and all that fun stuff.
Your granticide is showing, mister.
You're gonna run that into the. You're gonna love this, I think.
Oh, I am so much.
So what she's referring to is my son and my daughter-in-law just announced that I'm going to be a grandpa.
Woo-hoo!
So very excited about that. Looking forward to holding a baby. Very happy for my son and my daughter-in-law. They're going to be amazing parents, and we look forward to holding said young child when it gets here.
And giving it back when it stinks.
That's right. Shake it up, fill it full of candy, send it home. That's going to be my job.
Exactly. However, we do need our viewers and our listeners to spam us with all of the old people jokes. Just for tip.
It would appear that your husband's already starting.
Oh,
anyway,
he's actually logged into StreamYard on his own computer to send me the link before you sent me one.
I'm helpful. What can I say?
Oh, you're something.
I'm definitely something. But hey, guys, there's a link there for the Level Up Sabers that was shown on the show on the screen there. It also is down in the notes down below in the links. You guys can check that out. And go buy yourself a saber. I cannot talk. Buy yourself some labor. No, that's probably not a good idea.
When you steal all my lines, then your words don't work.
Well, yeah. Well, I was thinking I had to do this by myself. I was like, okay, well, she's going to be a few minutes late. No big deal. But yeah, that's down there in the show notes down below. You guys can check that out. Now, for those of you who have gotten this far and haven't switched off, even though Tim can't talk tonight, we want to remind you that subscribing to our YouTube channel is a huge bonus to us. It helps us out greatly. So please, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. It continues to help us to grow. And in case you haven't seen it, we also have a Patreon page. A lot of fun and good content is waiting for you on our Patreon page. We have 5 different levels of subscription from $1 to $40. And they all have different bonuses and perks and cool things. The $40 one buys your way onto a couple of our live shows, I think 4 of them, and gives you opportunity to play on our Star Wars RPG a couple times.
And will be forgotten in the background.
That's right. So you too will not be sent a link when it comes time.
I promise that's the last one. I'm done now.
That's okay. I totally earned that one. I'm all right with it. I really did. So I'm not even a little bit upset about that. And then, of course, if you go there, you'll also be able to check out a lot of content on our Patreon page that is only specific to the Patreon page. Like there's a lot of bonus scenes, bloopers, like the one I created right at the very beginning for you. That was like a live bonus content moment for you. I hope you're happy. Anyway, but yeah.
Sorry, distracted by the fact I can hear my kid coughing in the other room, and it was the wait. You okay?
John says that there's a rumor of a musical episode at some point. I mean, sure, I'm starting that rumor now, but it counts. You are the only one saying that rumor, sir, and you're the only one who will say that rumor.
John, will you confirm that the tiny human is okay?
Put down the keyboard, check on the child. All right. So, hey, we've got a couple guests waiting in the back room. We should probably bring them in. It's been 5.5 minutes of me rambling and talking and showing videos. We should probably, make them feel welcome and
talk to them. Well, in the back room, I hope that all of my information that I was barely given is correct. We have actor, podcaster, and DJ Michael Spedden. Okay, sorry, Ned, that's the last one.
Yes.
And artist Beth Tobias, the Chalk Girl. I'm intrigued.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, guys. We are excited to have you here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks. Yeah.
As long as she's okay out there, I'm good.
Your child continues to live, Kathleen. You're good. Okay. So, hey, before we jump into our topic for tonight, why don't you guys take a minute, tell everybody about what you do and where they can find you. We'll start with Beth, the Chalk Girl. Tell everybody about you, Beth.
Hi. So I am also known as the Chalk Girl. I draw larger than life murals with sidewalk chalk and then turn them into prints and sell them around the country and online. And you can find all that good stuff, progress pictures and all sorts of new information on social media, pretty much anywhere. I've got Facebook, Instagram, I've got an Etsy page, I've got a TikTok, I've got a Whatnot channel, and it's all at the Chalk Girl.
So just to show you guys what kind of stuff she's drawing, check that out. It's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Wow.
Look at that. That is impressive.
That's amazing.
I can barely draw an oval or a square, so you're doing fantastic.
Oh, bravo. Look at that. That's well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so that's just a small sample of some of the stuff that you can find on her website. And I kind of lost myself in there a couple days ago between her website and going to her Facebook page or Instagram page. I was like, oh, that's cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff for you guys out there. And you also take those around to Comic-Cons and everything else for people to buy them there. So,
yes.
So what's the next show that you're going to? So if people are interested in buying some of your art.
I will be at Cincinnati Comic-Con September 22nd through the 24th, I believe are the dates. And that's actually my last one for the year.
Perfect. Well, there you go, guys. If you're going to be in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, you might as well stop in and see Beth and get yourself some cool chalk art. I mean, because you're already in Ohio, it's sad enough. So
you could get any one of these things behind me.
Absolutely. There we go. Excellent. All right, Michael, take it away. Tell everybody about you, where they can find you, all that fun stuff.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me on, and it's nice to meet both of you, ladies. My name is Michael Spedden. I'm an actor. I'm a podcaster, musician, jack of all trades, I guess you could say, master of none. Definitely not a master of any of them. But I wanted to, we've met each other through the podcasting community over the years. We've worked in the same circles quite a bit. And I really appreciate you helping me out because I'm starting a brand new show tomorrow. I've been a podcaster now for about 5 years. I've had my show Foul Players Radio. That's been on it's been on YouTube and on my regular website for 5 years and nearly 300 episodes. I'm coming down on number 300 very soon. And I just got a new gig with 97underground.com. And I can tell you more about the history of it, but it's a pure rock station. It's mostly heavy metal, hard rock, classic rock. You'll get some punk rock on there once in a while too. I mean, you're not going to hear Lionel Richie on there, but you're going to hear, the heavier stuff. And my show is going to be the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com. And I start tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be every Tuesday from 4 to 5 Eastern on 97underground.com. 97 Underground is no longer a terrestrial radio station. It was based out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
It is now strictly online, strictly internet radio. And we still do live events. We go out and we do live broadcasts and things like that. And I'm also an actor. You may remember seeing me in the J.G. Wentworth commercial. I was the Viking, 877 Cash Now. I come out of the back of the bus with giant horns on my head, and we're all lip syncing to opera. I can tell you a story about that audition, too. But I don't know how much time I've got right now. I've also been in Gotham. I'm guessing that many of you are into comic books and DC, Comic-Con. I see that you're into that. I was on the show Gotham, and I was actually killed in the last episode filmed and the third to last to air. I was killed by the ventriloquist right in front of the Penguin and the Riddler on Gotham. Season 5, episode 8, my character's name was Dale. And I was also in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I played a bartender. I played a bartender in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt movie called Kimmy versus the Reverend.
Okay.
Titus and Kimmy end up in a Leonard Skinner bar, and I am the redneck bartender. And so that's I played that part, and I've been on a number of ID Discovery shows, and I have a movie coming out called The Lachrymose Primrose, where I play a radio guy. So I've got all those things going on right now. So I probably went way over my time, but
that's no, that's fine. Not even a problem.
Hello,
the more you talk,
Tapper
the less I have.
721.
Yeah. Tapper 721 says hello, Mike Spedden. Because let's look at it this way: the more you talk, the less I have to. So that's probably better for everybody. So, but yeah, so awesome. So guys, down in the show notes down below, we've got some notes, and I'll be adding some more as we get going. What are you doing up there, Kathleen? Oh, it's Ernie. Hi, Ernie.
I just see this tail come up.
His meower's back, so then he's just gonna sit at the door and cry.
Yeah, I get it. So. All right, guys. So tonight on our show, we're going to talk about movies that were turned into TV shows. It's been a very popular thing to do for years because Hollywood has figured, well, if it was successful here, it'll be successful here. And that hasn't always panned out. In fact, I'd say it's probably about a 25 to 30% success rate based on the list of 100 shows that I sent you guys. I think probably only about 20 to 30 of those shows ever really panned out, and the rest of them maybe made it a season or two at most. But we're going to talk about some movies that were turned into TV shows tonight, the ones that either we like and we think you should watch, or maybe ones, like in my case, I'm going to talk about one that I didn't know was made into a TV show, and now I have to go find this thing and I have to watch it because it was canceled twice. So I need to know why it's so bad. So it's morbid curiosity at this point for me. So, all right, Kathleen, we're going to let you go first. We're going to have you tell everybody, and if you can avoid the Nern tale.
I'm trying, but cattails have minds of their own, which is good because cats don't have brain cells apparently today, mister. Anyway.
No, he's playing a great game of Look at My Butt with you.
Yes, he is. I'm glad you can't see it on camera.
Look at my butt.
So, looking through that list of 100, I honestly got like 75% of the way into it before I'm like, oh, there's one I actually like. And then I realized that the one that I wanted to talk about isn't even on your list. It wasn't on the list at all. Because I feel that everybody needs to watch the 2001... I believe it's 2001. Let me double check my reference. Yes, the movie was in 2001, and then the TV show was 2002 to 2004, 26 episodes, of Ozzy and Drix, which was based off of Osmosis Jones.
Really?
Really?
Yes, there is a WB animated cartoon obviously it's a cartoon, it's animated, based off of Osmosis Jones that kind of runs like it's sort of a police show inside the human body with a white blood cell and a cold tablet as your protagonists. Yes, it is. It's a ridiculous show, but it is a lot of fun. If you enjoyed the Osmosis Jones movie, I think you would enjoy the Osmosis Jones show. which, yes, is Ozzy and Drix. It's ridiculous, but I mean, anything based off of Osmosis Jones is going to be.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So it is. Let me see. Looking at the web or with the Wikipedia. So pretty much they are pursuing a scarlet fever bacterium played by Tim Curry, and it's fun. It's ridiculous and it's silly, and it doesn't actually have any of like the original cast. It's people doing voice matching.
Okay.
It's so entertaining, and I like the idea of the so Osmosis, or Ozzy Jones, is a white blood cell with an impulsive personality and a penchant for challenging authority, and he's paired up with Drix, who is a straight-laced, by-the-books cold pill. So you have your good cop, bad cop sort of vibe. It's dumb. It's fun. Dumb and fun is
Did not know that was a thing.
I think there's one of them
I know of Osmosis Jones clearly, but I mean, I didn't know of
Yeah,
Ozzy and Drix.
26 episodes. It made it 2 seasons, 13 episodes each. Definitely not the longest running of them, but also not the shortest. Ow, don't bite me. What?
Interesting. Okay.
Cat people
All
are
right.
in trouble.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that there was an Osmosis Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, like Tim, I feel like you would really enjoy it because the
I probably would, because I loved Osmosis Jones, so.
And the buddy cop sort of feel to it with the here's the one who always gets in trouble and never does what he's told, but he's actually somehow the most helpful of them.
Okay. Was there one that was on the list that you liked?
There was, and it's surprisingly, it's not a cop out. It wasn't just a watch our.
Or do you want to wait? Do you want to wait and see if anybody else uses it first?
Let's do that. Let's see if anybody else uses it, because it is probably one of the most popular ones.
All right, very cool. All right, Michael, what was on your list?
The ones that I liked off of that list, and I was looking through there, and I can remember there were a bunch of bombs on that list.
Oh yeah,
I mean there were a bunch. I remember there was a couple of them that I watched with high expectations, and I was just like, oh. One of them was Delta House, which was based on Animal House, and that didn't last very long. But I'll tell you the ones that I liked. MASH, of course.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Award-winning, award after award after award, just top quality acting, top quality writing on that show. Just a solid ensemble cast. Even when somebody would leave, the thing is that sometimes when you get a sitcom and a major character leaves, it's just never the same after that, or they just don't have the same chemistry or the same momentum. Right. But, Henry Blake dies, Colonel Potter comes in. Trapper John leaves, here comes B.J. Honeycutt. Frank Burns leaves, here we have Winchester. Yeah. And the ensemble stayed solid, and plus the actors that they had coming in doing cameos were always good, too. Just a very, very well done show. Another one I'd like to mention, The Odd Couple. A great play, a great movie, and the show was solid for about 5 or 6 seasons. Again, the quality of actor, Tony Randall and Jack Klugman on the television show. I know it was Mathau and Jack Lemmon in the movie, and I can't remember who the Broadway cast. Was it Mathau?
I got nothing on that one. I don't remember that. I remember the movie because I love Mathau and Lemmon together. They're always one of my favorite duos.
Yep. And another one that lasted a good while too, it was a decent show, was Alice, based on Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. That came out, I believe, right after the movie did. I think the movie came out in 74, and that was out maybe in 75 or 76. And it was the show itself was a little more lighthearted than the movie. The movie had some pretty dark parts in it, from what I remember. I haven't seen it in a good while, but it was a romantic comedy. But then there were some parts in it that were, basically some abuse and other things were in it. But it was a solid show. I mean, they had a good cast too on the show, and then the characters that would come in and out. The people that were somewhat regulars, but not the recurring people is what I meant to say. You know, just a solid show. So those are the three that I would recommend. The rest of them, I mean, they were just such, and I just don't know why it is that people, these production companies, they take these movies and I guess sometimes they learn the lesson the hard way that some things are just better off left as is. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I but it's also Hollywood's speciality to try and stretch that viewership as far as they can, because again, if it was popular here, oh boy, people are going to follow it over here, and sometimes they have lightning in a bottle over here and they just don't realize it, and so that the big screen doesn't always translate to the small screen, and vice versa. Small screen doesn't always translate to big screen.
You're right about that too. Yeah. So I mean, how many times have you seen movies based on the TV show and then you're disappointed?
Yeah, there's only a few exceptions to that in my book. I mean, you go from like Firefly to Serenity. Those are, that's a good jump there, and that helped. But yeah,
MASH was that I was going to mention was the one off the list. But
what's that?
MASH was the one that I was going to mention off the list. But
MASH, yeah.
If people hadn't seen it, they should see it.
Oh, absolutely, they should.
Yeah. I just realized my microphone is covered. Sorry.
That's okay. We can still hear you. It's fine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you're doing well.
I'm loud.
And if you're interested to see the article that we're referring to, it's this one right here. It's in the comments right now, but there's 100 shows or so or something like that on there, and some of these are some real stinkers. Like, some of them only made it for a couple episodes, and then Hollywood was like, yeah, this was worse than we thought, so maybe we should do this. So,
if I may, just we were talking about The Odd Couple and Tony Randall. I heard a very interesting story about him one time. He had played the main character in Death of a Salesman on Broadway, and he was attending it one night after he had left the show. George C. Scott was playing Willie Loman. That's the main character. Took sick, couldn't finish the show. Actually, in the middle of the show, he just got up and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to need to take a break. We'll take a intermission here." Tony Randall went backstage and finished the show. Came out dressed. Yeah, I mean, just imagine that level of performance.
Hey, if you know it, you know it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's incredible. Just and he's always been solid in everything he's done, over the years.
All right, Beth, what you got?
Well, okay, so I was just going through the list again, and I have seen one of them. I must have missed out on a significant part of pop culture because a lot of these went over my head. But although I never saw the original movie, which is, you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy, I did watch the Wet Hot American Summer show.
Okay.
And when I was watching it, I was working at a grocery store with a lot of folks that had grown up with the original movie, and just like comparing, like, obviously I didn't know a lot that was going on in the show. Like I could pick up on some things, but I'd never seen the movie, and just chatting with a lot of them, they were all very excited because it seemed to either not like hit the nail on the head, but be at least equivalent to the quality of the movie. I thought it was pretty funny. But I feel bad that that's probably my only contribution. It was definitely amusing and engaging and pretty darn funny, but that's the one that I recognized from this list.
Okay. That's fair. And it happens. And in all honesty, I have never watched the movie or the TV show.
Okay, so that makes me feel a little bit better. I am excited though.
Go ahead, please.
No, I was trying to think of other things that may have applied to this list or that they may have missed. And like Kathleen, I was just trying to think of other stuff. I don't have any that have already come out unless I got my dates mixed up. But I think this year the Continental is supposed to be coming out, which is the John Wick continuation. And so I'm just really excited about that one. That's like going to be one of my definitely need to watch shows. So maybe if you have me on in a couple of months again, I can answer this question a little bit.
Talk about it then. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, could you think of any movies that you've seen that you think should have their own TV show?
I was just thinking about this question.
She thinks John Wick would make a great TV show.
Well, but I was trying to think about that. I was like, well, what if they switch that up on me and give me that question? And I had one in my head, of course. Shower thoughts. They happen. I had a couple, and if I think about it again, of course, you put me on the spot. But
Sure.
No, there were a couple that I was like, this would be a really interesting continuation, and or just like the way that they could spin it. Oh, I think The Fifth Element was one. And I know it's like such a beloved movie, but I can see like other parts of the world happening in a television series, not necessarily Lilu and Corbin, but just like other parts. And I know it definitely had a beginning, a middle, and an end. But that was such a beloved movie in my house growing up. And so I think that would be kind of fun, especially from an artistic point of view, like a practical makeup application show, an old like animatronics kind of thing, like started with, stuff
practical effects. Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I can see that. I think especially if you were to highlight some of the eras leading up to the Corbin and Lilu era, so that's not you're not trying to rebuild those iconic characters, because I think that's where that might get into trouble. But I think if you were to talk about, from the time where the aliens dropped off, this thing leading up to that, all the people chasing, it could kind of be like Indiana Jones in space, everybody kind of chasing after and trying to find that this thing. I think that could actually work.
I mean, maybe one day, but that was the one shower thought that I had earlier today, and I was like, this could maybe.
Shower thoughts. I like that.
The struggle with shower thoughts, though, is that they go so quickly down the drain with the shower water.
Right.
So bad.
More usually because it's early morning and I'm not quite lucid yet, so there's
it might be like right before I go to bed, and I feel like my brain is just getting washed out, like it's gone.
Well, yeah, but then you sleep on it and then you're just done. So there's no way to retain those. Okay, very good.
So what was yours, Tim?
I had a couple I wanted to talk about. So one, I never saw the movie, and I only watched a few episodes of it, but the movie was critically panned and pretty much hated, even though it had a nice cast starring Christy Swanson. But it was brought to TV as Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And that one took off because it was differently cast. They took a different approach to the writing, and it found its home and it found its mark because it was really popular when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I watched a few shows here and there. I wasn't the most loyal to that show, but I did watch enough of it, and we've had a few of the people on from that show onto our show. Armin Shimmerman, Principal Snyder, Armin Shimmerman. Anyway,
twice.
We are so. Thank you. That's our good friends over at Scarab Scuttlebutt podcast. Go check them out. Awesome Star Wars. Yeah, awesome Star Wars based podcast over there. Love those guys. Roe and the gang, they do a great job over there, so check them out. But anyway, so that was one of them. That was just kind of a passing thought, because like Michael, as I was kind of scrolling down through, I was going, "Oh, that's a bomb. Oh, that's a bomb. That's a bomb." I was like, "Oh, that one turned out well," but and so there was only like 3 or 4 of them that I thought, "Oh, well, that turned out really well." So the one that I really wanted to talk about is because, and we talked a little bit about it pre-show, I absolutely love and adore this movie because it stars John Candy, and I'm a huge John Candy fan. Most anything he made, I will sit down and happily watch. You put on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I am a happy boy. You put on, just about anything he did, or even if he had a small part in it, like Home Alone, I'm a happy guy because it's John Candy. So the movie was Uncle Buck. And I absolutely friggin' adore that movie, Uncle Buck. There are so many things and one-liners from that movie that I use still to this day in everyday life. Some people say something like, "How about a ritual killing?" Anyway,
There's something wrong with you.
yeah. Oh, there's lots of things wrong with me, but we don't have time for that amount of therapy to
That's a different
discuss
show.
tonight. Yeah, that's a whole different show with usually me laying on the couch, clutching a pillow, crying. Anyway, but yeah, so I absolutely love the movie Uncle Buck. I think it's darn near perfect. There's only a couple little minor tweaks, but I love the casting of that movie. It was done so well. It is so unapologetically late 80s, early 90s. It's not even funny. And it's just, yeah, it's so set in a time era that it's just perfect.
Mhm.
And of course, what happened is Hollywood saw that and they're like, here's this perfect movie. Let's screw it up by making it a TV show. And so they did this back in, hold on a second, I will tell you, in 1990 to 1991, it was brought on by with the actor Kevin Meaney taking the lead. And as I said in the pre-show, he was a low rent John Candy. And he was like, from wish.com.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it just didn't work. I remember that TV show, and I remember watching a couple episodes of it. Watching it because I was like, well, it's Uncle Buck. It's got to get better. It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same premise that I applied to How I Met Your Father on Hulu. I kept waiting for that to get better. Kept waiting for it to get better, and I kept watching it every week. At this point, I was watching it towards the end of the season 2 just to see what other cameos from How I Met Your Mother were going to appear. I had no other reason to watch the show. I had lost complete interest in it. I just wanted to see, if Barney was going to make it, or if Ted was going to show up, or, what about Lily and Marshall? Anyway, that's a whole nother tangent, and I need to shut up about that. So anyway, what I didn't realize is that they took another go at this back in 2016, I think it was. Yeah, in 2016, they brought it back with Mike Epps, who's a great actor, and I think hysterical personally. And so I bring this up because I now have to figure out where to watch this, because I'm sure, even though I like Mike Epps, that this is going to be a train wreck of epic proportions. And so I'm encouraging you guys to watch it because, well, train wreck, and because train wrecks can be fun sometimes, but also painful. But yeah, Mike Epps, you probably know him best from the Friday movies, and I think he was in Barbershop as well. I'm not positive, but I'd have to look up his resume. But I know he was at least in some of the Friday movies, and he's a funny guy, great stand-up. Mike Epps has great stand-up, by the way, if you haven't checked that out. So yeah, so I would check out that one because, again, Mike Epps, I thought he was funny. Yeah, so that's the one that I was most interested in, and there's one that I didn't see on the list as well. And Kathleen, I think, was going to talk about it. So
Would it? I don't know.
Would it be our Patreon?
It would be our Patreon, and it was on the list.
It was on the list.
I thought. I don't know.
On. Scrolling very, very quickly.
It's alphabetical.
Is it?
Isn't it?
I'll be dipped. This is alphabetical.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Public school at its finest.
Oh yeah, hey, there it is, right there. Yeah. Yeah. It is down in alphabetical and in the S's. Who knew? I didn't, clearly.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so Stargate's on there. Stargate, yes.
That little show. Nobody's ever heard of it.
Thanks, John. Yes, Stargate was on the list.
Shut up, John. Nobody asked you.
Nobody asked you, Patrice. Anyway, but yeah. So I thought, yeah. Anyway, Kathleen, you have things to say about Stargate?
That was the one that I wasn't going to use as a cop out with the watch our Patreon review of it, because at some point I've been told you get to Jason Momoa.
Well, yeah. Once we get to Atlantis, but
that was the only way they got me to watch it.
We've got a few seasons of SG1 to get through yet. We're still in season 1. We're building.
We're like 5 episodes into season 1.
Actually, no, we're like 8 episodes in. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I tried to block 3 of them out of my mind.
Well, it's been a couple rough ones. Oh.
There are a couple of really rough ones at the beginning, but I've been told it gets better.
So here's the thing. I never watched the Stargate series up until we started doing it for our Patreon channel. And I found that I actually really enjoy the show. However, there's a couple of really, really painful episodes where it's just, it would be more fun to go slam your foot in the door. And it's just, it's really rough. Nobody has to ask me. I'm used to Statler and Waldorf, all rolled into one.
You are two grumpy old men all at the same time. That's accurate.
John also says there is one season of Spaceballs, the animated series. Yes, there is. And goodness gracious, didn't we have somebody on the show was on?
Voice actress.
Yeah.
Colleen?
Julianne Grossman.
Same week.
Yeah. Julianne Grossman. She was on that, and she's also the voice of the ship for Star Trek Discovery. So yeah, I think about that. I'm like, we had somebody on that from that show. I should know this one.
You know what's really fun is when we start watching things on TV now, and I'm like, that person looks familiar. Why do I know them? Oh, right, because they were also a voice actor, and I've now interviewed them.
That guy, huh?
Right? It's just weird. They'll be like a background character in a show, and it's wait a second.
I watched Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars, hearing the voice actors with a need it, got it, need it, got it, want it, got it, need it, for the ones that have been on our show.
And then in the middle of like the introductions of a live show, somebody mentions that they're the Viking from the J.G. Wentworth commercial, and you sit there going, oh yeah.
I know I've seen that guy somewhere.
I thought he looked familiar. Yeah.
John also says the Muppets went from television to film to television to streaming. Mm-hmm. And they have killed it everywhere because they are the Muppets.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how many of the stinker TV shows that were based off of movies would have succeeded if they were Muppet versions of those TV shows.
All of them. Okay. So there's a Roy Scheider TV show that's on the list. Now that I know this is alphabetical, I'm going to find it real quick. Hold on. Going back. Alphabetical. Hold on. I got to keep going. It's faster to go around the horn. I hate you so bad sometimes. Oh, where is it? Blue Thunder. There it is. Yeah, it was a mediocre movie about a rogue cop with a super spy helicopter, played by Roy Scheider, that they tried to turn into a TV show, but it came out at the same time as Airwolf, so it bombed. It only went from January to April, and then I think CBS, gave it the old crap can. But okay, imagine that with Muppets, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've seen a couple. They did a real nice thing with the Muppets with the A Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Denver was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have had other people in it. That was a long time ago too. There was two more. There was one on the list. If it's okay if I jump in with
continue.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a
one
free
that
fall
I
at this
actually,
point.
one show that I actually liked that only lasted maybe 2 seasons, which I thought they did a good job with, was Fame. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember. That was like early. Fame, the movie came out, I think, in like 79 or 80.
I was 3. Kathleen was nowhere near being thought of.
Yeah, and
Barely,
then there was
thought of when I actually existed, Tim.
and then the show came on in 82 and 83. It was a decent show. I mean, they did have a lot of the people from the movie come over and do the show, a fair amount of them. Another one that I liked too was The Paper Chase. That's probably going way too far back for you guys, but The Paper Chase, it was a good movie, and it was actually a decent show for a season or two. John Houseman. You guys are looking at me like when Steve Martin said 3 coins in a fountain when the bus and planes, trains, and automobiles. I bring up The Paper Chase. You guys are like,
God.
Oh, look at the time. We got a thing over here. No, just kidding.
I'm just also trying to make sure my cat doesn't fall off my table off the desk.
Well, here's a movie that was successful and has become a TV show that is also successful, and it's coming out with season 2. And since I'm a massive Star Wars nerd, you should already know where this is going. Rogue One to Andor. So, they're starting to. I'm starting to see news articles come out talking about season 2 and how that's coming up and everything, what can be expected, and all the the fan theories are going wild, and things along those lines. We could also reverse this. Are there any TV shows that you think would do better as a movie? Because they need a smaller format, a smaller footprint.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. A lot of the shows that have ended up being movies were there. That was a good one there in the heat of the night. John Wash just brought that up. That was a good movie and a decent show too. That lasted a good while. That was about 8 years it was on.
Had a very, very steady run.
Yep, it was a very good movie too. A very, very.
I think
good
you can
movie.
still catch it on replays on like TBS every now and then.
It just shows up on Turner Classic Movies from time to time too.
There you go.
Well worth watching if you've never seen it. You see, I like there's been a number of movies I've really enjoyed, like the Breaking Bad. They kind of wrapped up all the loose ends in a movie. Even though a lot of the main characters weren't in it, had been dead.
Right.
But, there have been quite a few shows where they actually made a movie at the end to kind of just, wrap things up and to close out storylines a little more thoroughly. Like Homicide: Life on the Street. That they had a really good movie at the end of that run too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me just try to think of some others. I'd mentioned Breaking Bad.
I think a lot of the dramatic TV shows could benefit from, a movie at the end to just kind of tie up some of the loose ends. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a show that's gone on for some odd number of years. I think even some of the comedies that went for a long time, like and I know that's coming back now, but the TV show Frasier at the end. They tried wrapping it up. The last couple episodes were kind of hit and miss here and there, but and I say that as a big fan of Frasier.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. But maybe having a nice wrap up movie would have kind of been cool for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Sorry. No, you're good.
Go ahead, Beth.
Sorry,
Please.
no, I think that one that a lot of fans were hoping for was that Supernatural was going to turn into a movie, or they were hoping that like the last season was going to be something a little more cinematic than the show. I still haven't finished it yet, so I don't even know how it ends. I think I got to like season 12, but I know that a lot of people were rooting for that to finish off with the movie.
Yeah, I didn't finish it either.
How many seasons did I go? Like 15?
15.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I think isn't it like the end of season 5 is Swan Song, because that was when they were going to end it, and then they're like, no, we're not done yet.
I think
that's
so.
Impressive.
Because Eric Kripke did he directed the first 4 seasons, and then I know it took a huge dramatic shift, and people definitely noticed how different it was. And then I think that either 5 or 6 had that we're gonna end it now, and then it never ended.
The season finale episode is called Swan Song. They were done, and then CW's like, yeah, no, you're not.
Yeah,
we like this.
Can we get 10 more years out of you? Sure, why not?
And now prequel spinoff.
Yeah. But I think that's already done. I think that it lasted one season and then it was gone.
Yeah.
What were the spinoffs from it?
There's a prequel one called The Winchesters. It was following their parents.
Okay.
But that one didn't go well.
Okay.
And then there was one with just the ladies, I think, that was their, of course, I'm not going to remember names now, but their cop friend. And then she took care of 2 other girls that they either rescued along the way or just that were then turned into monsters some way, somehow. But I don't even know if that one got off the ground.
I don't think that one went past a pilot.
Mm-hmm. So,
but, and then I think, and on that same sort of note, there's with Dexter, that it was so well loved, it was so well received, and then the last season was trash and stupid, and people who watched it are like, what have you done? What did you do to our character? Like, the end of the episode, or like, I think it's like the series finale was like, this is not how Dexter would have done any of this. What are you talking about? And then they brought back for season 8, and then it was maybe you made it worse. Never mind.
I think there's plenty of people too who could make that same argument for Game of Thrones if they would have, instead of having the season that was the finale, that I have yet to hear anybody say that it wasn't hot garbage.
No, nope.
If they would have done that as a movie and just shrunk it down, you know.
I don't want to be king. I don't want to be king. Shut up and be king.
So,
no, you're totally right. And they could have made like a decent like 3. It could have been like a long movie. They could have made like a 3.5 hour movie. But I definitely think that would have been better than season 8.
A 3.5 hour movie with pee breaks.
Yep.
Sure, absolutely.
Another thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I stepped on you there. Another thing I wanted to mention too was Gotham. Gotham. Now, I had known the show fairly well, and apparently, from what the folks now Gotham, I have a big Gotham fan base that follows me on Twitter, and to those folks, they're like Star Wars or Star Trek. You know, their Gotham to them is like a religion. You know, they're very into Gotham. And apparently, I mean, I wasn't aware of this. I just went to the auditions and did my part.
You did your thing, walked away, called it good.
Yeah, but apparently, they ended 11 episodes into season 5. And from what I understand, I've never heard this from anybody connected to the show. But what a lot of people were saying is that it was supposed to go 7 seasons.
I've read that, actually.
Yeah, and the last season was cut down to 11 episodes. So there was a lot of things that they just didn't get to. And actually, my character came in kind of by accident. As a matter of fact, Andrew Sellen's character, the ventriloquist, he was able to talk the writers into adding that because the ventriloquist was one of the Batman villains that just never, made the show yet.
Right.
And Andrew actually is a ventriloquist, and he wanted to do that part. He wanted to be the ventriloquist because that was like actually a later character. Anyhow, I think in the later Batman world, I think that character had only been around since maybe the 80s, as compared to like the Penguin and the Joker that had been around since I guess the 30s or 40s when it started. Yeah. And these people they feel that they weren't particularly happy with the way the series ended, and I think it would be wonderful if a movie or at least another season maybe on a streaming channel as compared to a network, just to give these folks the closure they deserve. Because I tell you, these folks, I mean, they're very kind. They've been kind to me, and I was only in one episode and I didn't say a word. I just got shot and carried the Penguins lunch for them, But I would love to see these folks get the closure on the characters in either the form of a movie, a made-for-TV movie, or maybe another season on a streaming service like a Netflix or a Amazon or Hulu or one of those.
I would not be against that, especially because in the end of that series. Mm-hmm. There's a automatic, the series is just kind of going along, and the last couple episodes it jumps ahead 10 years, within the span of a couple, and it was very convoluted and messy, and the rush to get Bruce into the Batsuit at the end of that series, it was just. Yeah, I can totally see where I think that would benefit from a movie and having an opportunity to kind of flush out that 10-year gap a little bit, what was going on in there. Instead of having one episode, you have young teenage Bruce Wayne, and then you have early 20s Bruce Wayne supposedly in the next coming episodes. And they did the same thing with a lot of the other characters. Everybody jumped by 10 years, and it never sat well with me. Up to that point, it's an amazing TV show.
Yeah, and I do have
that run with Jeremiah.
Yep. And I do have some selfish reasons for wanting that to happen, because if you've noticed, if you watch Gotham, everybody dies at least 4 times, and I only got to die once. So I'm hoping there's life. I'm hoping there's life for my character again. You know, he comes back because to get his revenge.
Throw him in the Lazarus pit. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, exactly. So
Gotham and people dying, and then I instantly get sad about Jerome again.
That's right. Jerome and Jeremiah, that run was amazing.
That was really cool.
It sure was. I mean, they did so many great things with that show. I mean, and I got to tell you, that was my network television debut, and I couldn't have, the way things worked out. If I could do it all over again, I mean, I couldn't have found 4 or 3 nicer guys to play to perform with. All 3 of them were just absolutely wonderful.
That's cool.
Corey Michael Smith as the Riddler. Andrew Sellon, as the ventriloquist, and the Penguin. God, how do I not know it? How am I drawing a blank on this?
I totally drawn a blank on his name too.
I know who you're talking about. I can see him, but I can't think of his name.
He's a 3-name
The gentleman that plays the Penguin.
Played Oswald Cobblepot.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Robin Lord Taylor. Robin Lord Taylor.
Yes, that's it.
I'm like, I was right there.
A lot of those guys are at the convention scenes, and so I see Robin a lot, but a couple of other names I wasn't sure. But I was like, I know that one of their names is Robin.
Yep.
Yeah, tell him Dale says hi when you see him.
Alrighty.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, very cool. So there's the whole list there. You guys can go check out the 100 shows that went from movie to TV, and many of them did not find the same type of success. Before we start wrapping things up here, let's have you guys remind everybody where they can find you. Beth, you want to give the folks a fresh up?
Sure. So once again, my name is Beth Tobias. I am also known as the Chalk Girl. I draw larger than life pictures, murals with sidewalk chalk, and then turn those into prints and sell them across the country as well as online. Some of these examples behind me are some of the prints that you can find. And to find those, you can see me on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot. All of the social media, and it's usually just at the Chalk Girl. And then I also have a website, and that is adventuresofchalkgirl.com.
Excellent. Michael, remind the good folks.
Well, thank you. You can find my my new gig coming up, 97underground.com. I'm on between 4 and 5 every Tuesday, 4 and 5 Eastern time. My show is called The Back of the Rack, The Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's pure rock worldwide. That's kind of how we announce it. It's kind of like when people that used to work for Ringling Brothers have to say, Ringling Brothers, Burnham and Bailey Circus, the greatest show on earth. We say the whole thing to let everybody know exactly where we are. And check out the website. There's some great history on the station, which unfortunately we don't have time for, but it's a lot of very interesting history behind this station. Also, you can see my podcast, Foul Players Radio, FOWL, Foul Players Radio. We are on YouTube, youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. I'm going to be in a movie called The Lachrymose Primrose coming out in a few months. I believe it's just about ready. I have an IMDb page. You can see my credits on there. I know that Murder Under the Friday Night Lights episode is on the ID Discovery website if you want to see that. I'm kind of blurry in that. You can also see me on, I think Gotham is still streaming, season 5, episode 8, wherever Gotham is streaming, and the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt movie, Kimmy versus the Reverend, is still on Netflix. If you want to see me in that, I'm there. And then if you want to go to YouTube, 2019 J.G. Wentworth Bus Opera 2019, the 60-second version. You'll see me there. And I think I'm finished shamelessly plugging myself here. So thank you for you guys aren't all sleeping over there or anything, are you? Or,
No, not at all.
What was that? Shameless self-promotion is the name of the game. Yeah. So
I think the cat's the only one that's asleep. I think you're good. Oh, you're not asleep? Well,
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Okay. See, you didn't even put the cat to sleep. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, thank you both for being with us tonight. We do
I
have
enjoyed
our fun little wrap-up stuff. So last Friday, we aired our interview with actor Tate Fletcher, who you may best know Tate as the heavy Mandalorian Paz Vizsla in the Disney Plus Star Wars series, The Mandalorian. I mean, obviously. Never mind. We talk about that, his upbringing here in the state of Michigan, and so much more. You can still find that episode of the FSF PopCast on our YouTube channel and on your favorite audio podcast providers. And don't forget, guys, your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major, major help. So please don't forget to click like and subscribe when you watch the videos.
And in just a couple weeks here, you can meet us at the Monroe Pop Fest in Monroe, Michigan. That'll be on September 15th and 16th. And we'll be there. We'll be running panels. We'll be we'll
Tim
have
will be there.
Well, yeah, I will be there. Kathleen won't be able to be there, but you can meet myself. You can also meet my daughter Kendall. She'll be there. You know, she makes cameos on our show every now and then. But yeah, Kathleen Jr. But yeah, we'll be there at Monroe Pop Fest, and we'll have some information down in the show notes down below where you guys can still buy tickets. And it's a really affordable VIP pass. I think it's like $25 for a 2-day pass, and you get some pretty cool swag in a bag. And and there's going to be some really great people there. If you're into wrestling, former WWE superstar, one of the Dudley Boys is going to be there. We talked with Jessica Ray. She's on the right side there, the White Lion and Wild Force Power Rangers. We've also talked to, well, you know what? Well, let's just do it this way. Let's do it this way. All right. So coming up next Friday, we've got Danny Jacobs, who is the voice of King Julian from Madagascar. After Sacha Baron Cohen no longer, he took over for Sacha Baron Cohen and has done it ever since Madagascar 2. That has been the voice of King Julian. So he's a ton of fun. Also, a guy from our great Mitten state of Michigan. He lives somewhere in this Mitten state. So anyway, so we talked with Danny Jacobs, and then coming up after that, the next couple weeks, we've got Stephanie Nadolny, who is the voice of Son Goku and Son Gohan from Dragon Ball Z stuff. So she was a ton of fun to talk with, because that's not the only thing she does. She's a singer with an amazing voice, all these different things. And she will also be at Monroe Pops. So will Danny Jacobs, and so will the guest in 3 weeks, Jessica Ray, the Wild Forces White Tiger from Power Rangers. And I think there's a couple other Power Rangers that are going to be there as well. But yeah, there's a ton of other people. Darren McCarty from the Detroit Red Wings will be there. If you're a Red Wings fan, we've already interviewed Darren, but we want to do it again because it's Darren freaking.
We would talk to him any day.
And yeah, because he's only my favorite hockey player ever. And so that's what's coming up for the next couple weeks on the FSF PopCast. We're highlighting the Monroe PopCast that we'll be interviewing. Not only that we have interviewed, but that we will be interviewing on site as well in some panels. And it'll be a lot of fun for that. But then also want to remind you that for this upcoming week, if you want to listen to our interview with Danny Jacobs, you can wait till Friday or Wednesday morning. That should be on our Patreon channel, and you can have early access to it for as little as $3 a month, both video and audio. You'll have early access. And and if you subscribe at the $3 amount for a couple months, you get a nice gift, a little present. It's fun.
And fun fact, there's a guest interviewer on that episode as well. Like, it's not me and Tim on the Danny Jacobs episode. It's Tim and John.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. The wonderful John Wass, who has been in our comments section tonight, who's also, my husband. Anyway.
I forgot that he was in that one. And that's right. And then on this one here, Stephanie Nadolny, we have Jason Taylor from 3 Geeks, because 3 Geeks podcast will also be at Monroe Pops with us. And so we interviewed her together.
Oh, great.
And then for Jessica Ray, we have another guest host, Ben Riley, who will be making much more appearances on our airwaves. You've seen him on our Star Wars RPG every month, but he's going to be helping us out a little bit more with some interviews and the whatnots, mostly the whatnots and the who's it, how's it's, and all those
exciting things that we're not talking about yet, because it's
super
exciting.
There's things are in the works. Things are happening. Things will be happening.
Things are brewing.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, right.
I got it. Totally got it. Well, on that note, we're going to totally unget it and say thanks again to Michael and Beth. Thank you so much for being on the show. Guys, go follow them. Check out their social media pages. Give them a good follow, and you guys will not be disappointed by what you find. Buy some art from the Chalk Girl. It's freaking awesome. Okay, and on that note, I got to go. Goodbye. On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast, or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.